Hey, this is Joy. Welcome back for another Whimsy Stamps project. Today I am sharing a Get Well card. It has a lot of different techniques involved. Probably good for a beginner to intermediate card maker. I decided to use the Get Well clear stamp set, which has the cutest chicken noodle soup image on it, but I chose to use the cat holding the syringe. I also used the Make Wave stencil to create the background. So I start out by deciding what color I want this cat to be. I have 3 black cats at my house, so I went with, not quite black, but I went with a dark warm gray cat. And that's just because I wanted there to be a little bit of variation within my colors. So I start out outlining where the shadows would be, and I am using a W9, so anywhere where there would be creases in his legs or where the belly would hang over, or even like where one toe would be overlapping the other, I put in the shadow. Then I come in with the W7 and I extend those shadows, and you're going to see that this is a pretty dramatic shadow, but it's the shadow that gives you, or these what I like to call the scary dark. That's what gives a 2-dimensional object the depth and character of a 3-dimensional object. Next, I come in with a W5 and I start to fill in all the different areas of the legs and the tail and the hands. And I just make sure I get a good blend. Now you will see here in a minute that once I have all of that blended out, I started to lose my shadow. And that's just because there's such a different or higher content of alcohol in the lower numbers than there's more pigment in the W9 versus the W5. So then I go in and I put in a more pronounced shadow. Now for the face, I choose to do just the opposite. I colored in the entire face with I think it's an actual W3. And that's typically how we teach people to Copic color or alcohol color, is go from lightest to darkest to light. I tend to do both ways, but for faces I find that I go lightest to darkest. So once I got that W5 in, or W3, then I started to put in the shadow along the outside perimeters of the face with the W5, just so that I could start creating the shape. So you'll see that really pronounced shadow where the snout is, and that's to make it look like it's round. Then I come in with the W7, and I don't go in as far. And then I do a complete wash of W3. Here I am bringing in an R21 to add some color to the cheeks, to the nose, and to the parts of the ears that I left uncolored, just to give him some character. And you're going to see now he looks more 3-dimensional or rounded in that face. For the syringe, I chose a BG10 and 11, and then I came in with B00 to put in some of the shading. For the body of the syringe, I used a C3, a C1, and a C0. And I just made sure to put in some shadows in there so that it also remained round. For the belly, I used an R42 and a 41. Now we're coming in to make this background. I'm using a Making Waves stencil, which you're going to see has 3 different sections in it. I chose to use the widest portion of that stencil, and I'm doing it catty corner. So I start with a red dye ink, and then I come in with a yellow, and by combining the 2 colors, obviously I am creating orange in the middle, so I am going with a rainbow motif. Now I mentioned I'm only using the wide part of the stencil, I'm not using the other ones. So I make sure to clean it off in between applications. And I am using a glass board mat that's magnetic. So you're going to see that I hold my stencil down with magnets. That's why it's not moving or anything like that. To the best of my ability, I am trying to match the curves of the first wave But really, it doesn't matter because we're not going for perfection here. So I start with that yellow, and then I come in with a blue eventually. So I'm really working this yellow into the orange because I had, I think I made a mistake and I dipped my red brush into the yellow, which didn't matter. But, like I said, we're doing a rainbow effect. Here I'm coming in with the blue, and of course the blue and the yellow are making green. So in reality, if you use a red, a yellow, and a blue, the three primary colors, you can make every color under the rainbow, and that's kind of what we're going for here. Here's again where I'm taking that same thick part of the waves and I'm trying to line it up the best that I can. And because we're going for a rainbow, we can overlap and still get a pretty good design. When I do this last reveal, you're going to see that I have some harsh lines where the corners of the stencil are. Don't worry about that because we are going to trim this panel down. I'm coming back in with the red dye ink, and then the red and the blue are obviously making purple. And I'm just getting a really nice blend. And then I have that one little section left, and I come in with yellow. So I'm starting my rainbow over again when we finally get there. So I want to say thank you for hanging out with us. Everybody at Whimsy just really appreciates all of your kind words and support. And we cherish you guys as our customers. And I just wanted to say thank you while we're finishing this blend. For my final blend, I am using the same colors, and kind of where the yellow is, I'm going over the yellow. Where the red is, I'm going where the red is, and I'm filling in those white gaps. You could leave them as white gaps. It's kind of a cool design. I just wanted a little bit more texture and nuggets of color. Again, this is just, that's my style, but you absolutely can make this however you want. Do you see in that top corner where, well, now it's at the bottom, where I've got those harsh lines from where I had that stencil where it was square? Now I'm coming in with my guillotine trimmer, and I am going to cut all of that off, and it's not going to even be a problem. I like a centered card a lot, so I am going to do quite a few matte layers, but first I am heat embossing two of the sentiments. Are you cured yet and feel better soon? Onto black cardstock using white embossing powder. And then I cut out that Are You Cured Yet with the Comic speech bubbles. And then I also, with white cardstock, cut out the extreme postage die, and I matted the stencil frame in black, and then I did the postage die, and then I popped that up on foam and put it on my card base. Now this cutie I glued down. You're going to see that I got that little drop of glue because I'm using Barely Art glue. It dries clear, and I just mopped it up, and it's fine. I mounted the Feel Better Soon sentiment strip with foam tape just to pop that up a little bit. I did the same thing with the You're Cured, and here you're going to see that I am putting down the two little dots that are part of the speech bubble. I also put in the two drips from the syringe as well. To finish off my card, I just used some crystals to give it some bling. And here I'm showing you this final card. I absolutely love this. This is so much fun. And then here I am zooming in and out just so that you can have one last look at how cute this guy turned out. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Until next time, keep crafting and have a great one. Bye-bye.